The Department of Labor today released a proposal that could make it possible for gig workers to be reclassified as employees. Up until now, gig workers are categorized as independent contractors. Shares in Uber, Lyft, and Doordash were down on the news. So what does this mean for Uber, Lyft, and Doordash? What does it mean for the gig economy? What does it mean for the future of transportation? What does it mean for the US economy? And what does it mean for the future of the United States? But before we get into that, please hit the like button. Please leave us a comment below, we would love to hear from you. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos. The US Labor Department released a stunning proposal on Tuesday. The proposal could set the stage for courts and regulators to reclassify gig workers as employees. Right now, gig workers are considered to be independent contractors. If the proposed rule is adopted, costs for companies like Lyft, Uber, Instacart, and Doordash would escalate. All of these companies rely on contract workers to pick up shifts on their own schedules. Shares of Lyft tumbled 12% on the news. Uber shares were down 10.4% and Doordash shares fell by 6%. All three companies have made the case that flexible schedules are attractive to workers. They have also pointed to surveys illustrating the popularity of the independent contractor model. It is also probably the case that the business models of Uber, Lyft, Doordash, and Instacart would not work without the use of independent contractor status. Labor experts and activists are a little divided on the matter, however. These companies use the contractor model to reduce their own costs while denying workers important protections such as healthcare benefits, overtime pay, and the ability to organize into unions, said a union spokesperson. California passed a 2020 law requiring many companies to classify contract workers as employees. Later that same year, voters approved a proposition to exempt app-based ride-hailing and delivery firms from the new law. The White House changed Trump administration rule that would have made it easier to classify workers as independent contractors instead of as employees. But a court reinstated the Trump administration rule after a legal challenge. We considered waiting longer to see how the Trump-era rule played out, the White House said in a statement. We decided to move ahead with the proposed regulation instead because it believes keeping the earlier rule in place would have a confusing and disruptive effect on workers and businesses alike, the White House statement continued. This is due to its departure from case law describing and applying the multi-factor economic reality test as a totality of the circumstances test, the statement added. Under the new rule, classification of a worker as a contractor or employee would be based on a more holistic assessment. Factors would include whether the work is an integral or central part of the company business. The goal is to protect workers from being classified improperly while providing consistency for businesses that wish to employ independent contractors, the agency wrote. The new proposed rule would still need formal regulatory approval. That includes allowing enough time for public comments before the rule could become effective. The proposed rule takes a measured approach, essentially returning us to the Obama era, during which our industry grew exponentially, said C.R. Wooters, head of federal affairs for Uber. In a time of deep economic uncertainty, it's crucial that the Biden administration continues to hear from the more than 50 million people who have found an earning opportunity with companies like ours, Wooters continued. There is no immediate or direct impact on the Lyft business at this time, a Lyft spokesperson said in a blog post. The rule does not reclassify Lyft drivers as employees and also doesn't force it to change its business model, the Lyft spokesperson continued. The rule simply reverts the standard to that used under the Obama administration, which previously applied to its company and did not result in reclassification of drivers, Lyft said. The news comes as inflation is raging in most countries of the world. The United States economy teeters on the brink of a recession. And the United States Federal Reserve continues to aggressively raise interest rates to fight inflation. This news also comes at a critical point for Uber as it tries to become a free cash flow company. Uber has struggled this year as a result of soaring gasoline prices and other inflationary headwinds. Wall Street analysts have basically overlooked its improving profits. Uber profits improved as it divested its overseas businesses. Uber jettisoned its advanced technologies group that was developing driverless cars and drones. Still, shares in Uber stock lost more than a third of their value this year. Rising interest rates have exacerbated the pain. Wall Street investors have rotated toward more conservative investments. But, is Uber really worth more than its current valuation? Uber's revenue fell 14% to $11.1 billion in 2020. The pandemic almost stopped the growth of its ride-hailing business. Uber Eats grew because more people stayed at home. But that growth was not enough to offset the 27% decline in total trips. Uber just reported a $2.5 billion loss in earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Uber's sales rose 57% to $17.5 billion in 2021 as the pandemic-related headwinds abated, and its total trips increased 27%. It also benefited from the divestments of its overseas and ATG units. Uber's adjusted EBITDA loss then declined to $774 million. The first half of 2022 saw revenue 118% year-over-year to $14.9 billion. Quarterly free cash flow also turned positive for the first time ever in Q2. Uber served an astounding 122 million monthly active platform consumers in Q2. That was an increase of 21% from the same period in 2021. Wall Street analysts' expectations are for revenue to grow 79% to $31.3 billion. Based on that, shares in Uber are trading at less than twice this year's sales. That might be a low valuation. But there are concerns. Volatile fuel costs. Regulatory challenges, like demands to reclassify drivers from independent contractors to employees. The looming recession in the United States. And a recent data breach. Uber probably will not turn profitable anytime soon. But it has been taking steps in the right direction as it trims the fat and streamlines its business. What do you think? Please hit the like button. Please leave us a comment below, we would love to hear from you. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.